Greetings, folks. We're live. Parents are questioning their child rearing skills 3 times a week, according to a new report. And their decision to have children apparently 1 trillion times a week. Hi, everybody. I'm Kenny Webster. Thanks so much for being here. But not only are we live on the radio right now, we are live on social media. I have a guest in the studio right now. His name is JD Shipley. JD, you are, I am told, swoll. Is that correct?
Well, sure.
Yeah. What does swoll mean? What is that?
I think it means swollen. Swollen in face is what they mean.
Big muscles.
Yeah.
That's what it, where does that term come from?
That's a good question, man.
There's a lot of slang in the weightlifting community.
Yeah.
And you didn't come up with it.
I did not.
It's not your fault that that's the slang. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for getting tuned in today. For those that do not know, a little inside baseball here. I was not always the handsome, muscular guy that you see before you on camera right now,
or young man,
or here on the radio. A few years ago, I was overweight. I had high blood pressure, and my arms were thin. My gut was big. I was not able to slam tens every weekend like I am now. That's not really. Okay, I exaggerate a little. I was not as physically fit as I am now. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I had a pretty big transformation take place. It happened during a tough time in my life. I was going through a divorce, juggling some personal issues. And one of the things that I found was that getting healthier helped me to become a happier, more mentally healthy, but emotionally intelligent person, which was not what I expected going into my fitness journey.
Yep.
I don't like when people use language like that, but I don't know how else to describe it.
I hate the word journey.
It was my fitness journey. Well, JD Shipley, you're the guy who helped get me into shape. You have this gym in Houston.
Yep.
There's another one in Katy, Texas.
Yep.
It's called Starting Strength.
That's
Starting Strength is really very revolutionary and cutting edge, in part because during a time when all these gyms are filled with gimmicks and shortcuts and things that don't really work, your whole gimmick, if you will, is that there is no gimmick, right?
Correct. Yeah. Easy doesn't work. So we lean into the hard stuff.
And what would be an example of that? I mean, explain this to someone that's not normally into it. What's the difference between your gym and like Planet Fitness or LA Fitness or 24-hour Fitness?
Yeah, no, the way it works is you train 3 times a week. You don't need more, and you certainly don't need less. You do 4 lifts, 5 depending on your age and your athletic ability. But let's just start off with the 4. You do squat, press, bench, and deadlift, which are barbell lifts, which are considered scary. And not only that, you add weight to the lifts every time, and it's boring, and it's boring. It gets heavy, and it's just a bunch of hard work over and over and over again.
I don't think you're selling it well.
No, I'm not.
I don't think it.
I'm not very good at it.
I don't think it is boring. I have a great time when I'm at your gym.
Yeah, well, that's the environment. That's the group environment aspect.
I find I am with a group of ideologically diverse people,
Yep.
liberals and conservatives and all types. And while we're lifting weights together in a very small group, we have very fascinating conversations about chemtrails and the Epstein files
Seed oils.
and that's seed oils, beef tallow. And that's not really the point of the gym. That's just something that kind of unintentionally happens
Sure.
because it's a group of highly intelligent people
Yep.
hanging out lifting weights together.
Yep.
And they're very nerdy, but the people that are going to your gym, a lot of them look like Vikings and stuff. In fact, I think a lot of the coaches play Pokemon. Is that part of it?
That's absolutely right. There's a bunch of strong nerds is what it is.
It is really strong nerds. Okay, so the guy that started the whole program, his name was Mark Ripito, and he's kind of controversial in and of his own right for a number of reasons, particularly because back during the pandemic, he was one of these radicals who said maybe during a health epidemic, we shouldn't close all the gyms and give people Krispy Kreme donuts.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Right.
So if people are trying to get healthy, what you're taking the one thing, marking it that will make them healthier, and marking that as non-essential.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's important, obviously, because during a health crisis, a moderate amount of exercise is probably what's going to keep most people alive, apparently, right?
That's exactly right.
And so I see these videos on the internet of like women with bungee cords jumping around in a gym. They're wearing moon boots or whatever. And that's not really fitness, is it?
No, I think it's a misunderstanding of what actually works in the gym. It's fun. It's sexy, right? There's usually some very, very good looking women that are shown doing that kind of stuff. But that's not what got that person to to look like that.
There's also this culture right now on social media of what's going on in gyms. And it basically portrays like, well, there's that. But what I was going to say was, you see a lot of these videos on the internet of scantily clad women in a gym making videos of themselves looking almost completely naked and then getting mad at people for staring at them. And there's an unlimited amount of these videos on the internet. There's so many of them that there's a genre of people reacting to those videos. And as somebody that's been going to your gym for 3 years, nothing like that has ever happened in your gym. It's always people wearing regular clothes, working out in what I would describe as a G-rated environment, which is fine. I think that's, that's probably good.
G-rated environment, but maybe R-rated conversation. But no. So there's no mirrors. You won't find. It's not a meat market. You won't find people, posing and trying to, work on their fitness pro card or anything like that. Right? It's people who are interested in getting stronger and are there for the coaching and are there for the help.
Okay, so you always tell people, or I've heard you say this before, going to starting strength is not about losing weight. It's not about bulking up. It's not about looking sexier. But I will tell you, and just a humble brag here, after being in the program for about 2 years, I am no longer ashamed to be naked in front of someone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
that's a byproduct of getting stronger.
Right.
Right. Focus on getting stronger, and all these, as Jesus said, all these other things will be added to you.
See, you are a Christian, and I'm making this awkward right now. And for the record, I'm a Christian too. Both of us were raised in the Catholic Church. Is actually, can I ask you about that? Your religion, your faith, and your fitness, there's a correlation.
There's very, very much a correlation. I believe what I'm doing is a calling, yes.
You think so? You think God called on you to start this gym?
Yeah.
Because there are people in your gym that have had some serious health problems.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, we interviewed my buddy John not long ago. John had a heart attack.
Yep.
He almost died.
Yep.
And it was your fitness program that saved his life.
Well, I mean that call that a humble brag, right? So it was his willingness to do the hard things. I think that saved his life. And one of those hard things was getting stronger beforehand, right? One of the things that we can say is physical strength is money in the bank. He got stronger. He got sick. He lost 50 pounds. He lost a bunch of weight. Had he not gotten sick, or had he not gotten stronger prior to that, the question that I raise is, would he have had the physical wherewithal to have paid that bill whenever life came calling?
Yeah.
Physical strength is money in the bank. It's like he contributed to his physical 401k and was able to, and had the money in the bank to pay that bill.
Isn't that interesting? And that's probably not the only time you had an experience like that, but that's such a great example of like a textbook. Here's a guy, he's a little older, right? John's in his 60s or 70s.
He's in his late 60s right now.
And that's exactly when people think, conventional wisdom says you don't lift weights at that age, but that's wrong.
That's exactly right. Then is when you need it, right? That's just one story out of the hundreds. Every single one of our members has got some sort of story of improved capability and how being stronger has improved their physical existence.
Yeah, I love that. And you make I love this too. You've told people before, the stronger you are, the better you are. Physical strength is money in the bank. And that's not just a catchphrase. People that are unhealthy might think they're saving money on a gym membership, but actually it's much more expensive to be unhealthy than to be healthy.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what this is. So this is kind of like saving. Nobody wants to save because there's other stuff to go spend their money on, right? Nobody wants to go do this because there's other things that they would much rather be doing. And I understand, I agree with it. But just like you have to save, you have to invest in your physical health. Otherwise, when you get to your 50s, 60s, 70s, do you want to be older and strong, or do you want to be older and metabolically bankrupt?
My whole life, right up till I was in my late 30s, I was trying to avoid going to the gym. I would do a moderate amount of exercise, ride a bike, jog around the park a couple times, 20 push-ups before bed, if I could even do 20 push-ups. After being in your program for a few months, I never want to leave the gym. That's all I want to do now is lift weights, and that's where I feel at home. And that is for my whole life, that was a very different way of looking at it. I don't know how to explain to people that I changed from being there. I don't know how to just tell someone, this will change you, but it did. It changed me.
I think what you do is you tell them, and then you let it sit, and you tell them, and you tell them, and you tell them, and you tell them, because it's not until they realize the need that at that point it's going to make sense for them.
All right, if you're just turning on your radio, I'm talking to my buddy JD Shipley from Starting Strength Gym right now. When we get back, we are going to get into the weeds on how you could be a better version of yourself, and what you are being told about the fitness community, what you are being told about your health by corporate America, even by the government, is a lie. We will explain why right after this. Stick around.
This is Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness on KPRC 950, Houston.
JD Shipley here in the studio right now. Don't change the channel. We got more coming up. JD, if people want to get signed up at your gym, where do they go?
So they would go to Google in Houston and Google Starting Strength, and Starting Strength Houston or Starting Strength Katy will pop up. You can sign up for a free 30-minute session, come in risk-free, and check us out and see what we're all about, and see how strength training would best serve you.
How many people that do the free introductory class end up becoming clients, become regular students?
I would say 80 to 90% of them.
What is it that prevents people from sticking around?
Sometimes it's schedule. Sometimes it's the fear of lifting weights, of strength training. As
far as one-on-one coaching goes, this is the most affordable way to do it.
It breaks down to $28 an hour.
Normally, a personal trainer costs hundreds of dollars for an hour. This is much cheaper than.
Exactly, that's exactly right. If you're talking personal training, depending on where you go, $75 to $150 an hour. And for somebody who may not be qualified as to walk you through these lifts.
All right, we're going back on the radio. Stick around, folks. If you're watching us on social media, don't change the channel. We'll be back live in literally seconds. Hang on. All right, a new report claims that, hang on. There we go, we are back live. A new report from the world of consumer news claims Sydney Sweeney's sexy advertisements for American Eagle jeans have boosted sales. Unfortunately, it was sales for paper towels, apparently. It wasn't wasn't what
Kleenex stock is going through the roof.
Sydney Sweeney was seen riding a jet ski on a lake in Idaho. Let's be more accurate. Sydney Sweeney was seen riding the luckiest jet ski ever on a lake in Idaho. Thank you for laughing at that. My buddy JD Shipley is in the studio right now. JD, there's a weird thing happening right now in the zeitgeist out there.
Yeah.
I talked about this earlier on the show before you got here. And I get that you're a fitness guy. It's not your job to understand culture, consumerism, but you are vaguely on the right, and you're not real political, but
sure,
you're not a commie or a pinko or whatever. Sydney Sweeney's in this new advertisement for blue jeans.
Yeah.
And MSNBC, the actual people are being deadly serious about this. They're like, this is a sign, a pretty blonde lady in an advertisement for blue jeans is a sign of white supremacy. I have an actual screenshot here in the studio of what MSNBC is reporting, and it really is as stupid as this. Sydney Sweeney's ad shows an unbridled cultural shift towards whiteness. You can't just have a white lady in a blue jean ad without being offensive. What am I not understanding about this?
Oh man, I think NBC's just going for clicks at this point is what it is. I mean, whatever they got to type to get some clicks.
There's more examples of this, like multiple examples of it. And I just wonder, at what point can you just be a blonde lady in a TV ad? You know who I miss? I was looking at this the other day. Now, as a health and fitness guy, is going to bother you, but I just feel like the Marlboro guy was so cool back then.
As manly gets.
There's a photo right now of on the screen here, an old 70s living room, probably AI generated. Right. And somebody decided to frame a photo of the Marlboro man. And the problem with this, JD, is smoking really does make you look smart, sexy, and cool. That's the problem with smoking, You cannot agree. You don't have to.
No. I smoked on and off for years, before finally quitting. Because at the end of the day, smoking's cool. Like I don't, it's disgusting, but it's still cool.
I smoked when I was younger too, And now every day I run somewhere between 3 and 9 miles around the park. I'm in your fitness program, lift weights I think at an intermediate level. I'm pretty good at this point. I'm getting up there, almost, deadlifting three plates, that sort of thing. Doing pretty good with it.
Yep.
I think the lesson to be learned here is you can smoke for a while and it's fine.
Right. There's a threshold. As long as you don't cross that threshold. No, please don't smoke.
That is not the lesson, and starting strength does not endorse that. JD, I have questions for you. I know people want to know this. What inspired you to become a strength training coach? Like, why did you do it? You said God played a part in this?
Yeah. So years ago, my wife and I, we're somewhat athletic, right? We'd go train for a marathon, and we'd go do for this, and we'd go do cardio in the gym and in the garage, and I got fed up with it. I got fed up with all the cardio. I was a big guy, but nowhere near as strong as a guy I thought my size should be. So I just said, screw it. I'm done with all the cardio, and I'm going to lift heavy. I'm going to see how strong I can get. And little by little, I realized that the secondary benefits of being stronger, right? The looking good, the mental health, the mental clarity, the resiliency from doing hard things, it were actually primary benefits that most people need. And round about that time, I had come back to my faith. I had was praying, Lord, what do you want? Because I was good at work, but it wasn't getting everything from me. And as I quite literally heard, help people get stronger. And at that point, nothing was more clear to me. To quit my job, open a gym, and become a coach and help people get stronger.
All right, there's a report out that claims every year Americans spend billions of dollars on things like Cialis and Viagra. The U.S. Department of Defense spent $41.6 million on Viagra, $84.2 million total on drugs for erectile dysfunction. We're all adults here.
The Department of Defense.
Yeah, because people in the Pentagon, people in the military get prescriptions for it. Now, look, we're all adults here. You're a married man. You're a man of God or whatever. There is an argument to be made that if somebody is out lifting weights regularly, it boosts your testosterone level and probably decreases the need for this sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And no one will admit that out loud, but that's a valid reason to lift weights and exercise, isn't it?
I'm sorry. That's exactly the reason to lift after exercise. I mean, virility is what. Good Lord, I'm getting tongue-tied now just talking about sex on the radio. But,
also, in the background, there's like a weird humming noise. That's,
I hear it.
The listeners can't hear that because the mics are designed that way. But in the background right now, there's a noise coming from the ceiling, and it's distracting you. And as a professional broadcaster, it's the combination of me asking you about Cialis. It's not fair. It's not fair to JD.
Well, no, I've got a really, really good story. It involves my wife, and it's not something not something to share on the radio.
Kids, turn off the radio. Don't describe any vivid sex acts, and I think we'll be okay.
So this is about a few months into getting into lifting heavy, and my wife made a comment about how much better things were, and I decided to myself that I was never going to not squat ever again.
Because your wife, it was improving your love. It was improving your love life. I think that's a big deal. What's the biggest misconception about strength training that a lot of people don't realize?
That it'll make you big and bulky.
Because women are afraid of that.
And some men are afraid of getting big and bulky as well. Oddly enough, I find it strange. However, that's not for me to judge. But getting big and bulky is a decision. And it's not like if I could get big and bulky, I would, I'm still working on it. So it's not just something that
you
happens.
Look tiny. Yeah, clearly you're a very little guy there. How tall are you?
6'3".
You're 6'3", and how much do you weigh?
285.
You weigh 285. I'm 6'3". I weigh a little more than 200 pounds. And I'm in the program with you. What am I doing different than what you're doing? Not eating enough?
Well, I mean, one, I've been at it longer, and two, I think my diet's different. Our diets are different, and that that is what it is. So we can also talk about the running. I don't run anywhere near. I don't run at all. But that's gonna burn calories and require resources that I don't have to worry about. You
have 3 children.
I do.
I have 1 bulldog. You have a wife. I live alone in a house. So I have time every day to run 3 to 6, 9 miles. You are running multiple businesses while you're raising a family. Come on, JD, get it together. Find some time for cardio. What's your problem, buddy?
My cardio is getting up and going to the kitchen to make breakfast is what my cardio is.
What is the most rewarding part of being a coach to you? I mean, you got into this for one reason, and what was the big surprise?
It is really that. It's being at ground zero for the benefit that we're able to impart to our members' lives. To watch somebody come in and say, you know, I had to take my dog to the vet today, and I was able to pick him up and put him in my car by myself, right? And I wasn't able to do that, you know, 9 months ago.
When people look at these old videos of bodybuilders from a long time ago, Lou Ferrigno, Arnold Schwarzenegger, but going back even farther than that, you know, Atkins, guys like this, the world of strength training's changed a lot since then, right? It's very different. What's changed about it? It's okay. You don't have to know the answer. It's all right. You could just say, I don't know. Honestly, you're about my age. You weren't alive 80 years ago. You don't know. How old are you?
I am 46.
Okay, so you're a couple years older than me. I'm 43. You don't remember Lou Ferrigno.
Well, no, I remember watching The Incredible Hulk.
Sure.
Right, and watching that going, holy cow.
What was he doing different back then besides a lot of steroids? What was he doing?
He was doing a lot of steroids.
Is there any? Well, you know, to that point, is there any way to achieve the way that The Rock looks without, like, I'm not trying to throw The Rock under the bus here, but one of the things I hear from bodybuilders all the time is that's not a natural look, is it?
No. I think a lot of that is there's some pharmaceutical help to get people there, but you don't have to take steroids to get the benefit, to get benefit from lifting weights.
Of course. And again, I'm not trying to throw The Rock under the bus, but he does Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. They have him in children's movies and stuff like that. Do you think someday we'll look back on this time in history and we'll say, wasn't it weird that we had a guy who was clearly on anabolic steroids or some kind of performance-enhancing drugs, and we told little kids, hey, this is achievable. You can be like this, when clearly you can't do that without drugs.
Well, I think that's maybe a better thing to give a kid to strive for than a guy whose waist is bigger than his chest, and he's he's diabetic and hypertensive, and he's got all the other issues.
That's a good answer. Actually, I appreciate that answer. I love it.
Gonna get some hate mail from some people who are maybe diabetic and hypertensive. But
what's your go-to recovery tip for sore muscles?
Eat and sleep.
That's it. Just rest.
Eat and sleep.
Because what is it? Joe Rogan says anybody that's getting less than 6 hours of sleep a night, your testosterone levels just deplete into the ground. I know Joe Rogan's not a health expert. He's a podcaster. But that's the thing they always talk about on their show. There's a lot of men that just aren't sleeping enough, and I try to make that point on this show as well. Especially being a morning radio show host, a lot of my peers do not sleep enough.
Yep.
And when you look at people that work in my industry, they don't look healthy.
Yep. If you can get eight, obviously eight's great. Sometimes that's not ideal, but if you can get 8 and you can eat 3 times a day, with as clean a source as you can make it, then those are good goals to strive for.
I want people to get signed up for Starting Strength. Katy, Texas. The Houston, Texas gym it's not like it's sold out, but
we're pretty darn full.
But there's more room at the Katy, Texas gym. And frankly, I probably have more listeners out there anyway. If they want to get signed up, what can they do? They can come get a free introductory lesson.
Sure can.
Yeah. Come check. What do they do?
Check out katy.ssgyms.com.
Google Starting Strength Katy. That's would
exactly
be
right.
The word Starting Strength followed by the town Katy, Texas.
That's exactly right.
Google that; it'll get you to the website. And where do they go from there?
There's several buttons to click. It'll say free 30-minute session. Click on that and find a time that works best for you, and we'll see you when you come in.
All right, I'm going to just pull it up here for people on the screen to see. Starting Strength Katy, Strength.
Get free session right over there on the corner.
Get free session. It's right there in the corner.
Or try it free down on the bottom. Schedule your free session.
And if they tell you that they're friends with me, are you going to be meaner to them? Or?
Yes.
Yes.
We charge them double.
Hey, I'm Kenny Webster. Thanks so much for watching this. Everyone that watched, you guys know we joke around about lifting weights on the air. We say, "Oh, I lift, I'm strong," but I really am into it, and Steve Johnson is really into it, and barbell training is a big part of my life. And I could tell you it's gotten me through some tough times with both my mental health and my physical health. I am a loyal brand evangelist to Starting Strength. It changed my life for the better. Not to get too hyperbolic, I think it kind of saved my life at one of the toughest points in my life. I had God, and I had my strength training program to help to help lift me up, and it did a lot of great things for me. So I'm grateful for you and for the guys at your gym. To the rest of you, I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on social media, why not hit the retweet button? Why not hit the share button? Have a great afternoon. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for more of what you bought a radio for.
You are listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass when